Father Inarius, as I shed my wicked blood, let it be purified in thy light. Let the light fill the darkness within all of us.
Oh, your pitiful chanting again? Are you so eager to watch me freeze her blood?
Have you noticed the grim sight of pyres, often ablaze, marking the landscape of the fractured peaks? Closer inspection reveals a darker truth. These pyres are not mere bonfires, but funeral pyres, filled with the dead. Inquiry into the purpose of these pyres with the local folk reveals that they serve as the final resting place for those deemed enemies of the church. But in the world of Sanctuary, the Cathedral of Light is led by a being that cares less about humanity than some demons in hell do. I'm talking, of course, of Inarius, the fallen angel. The reason I bring up Inarius is because in this video, I want to talk about some members of the clergy that thrive not in the zealous and blind faith of their followers, as Inarius does, in my opinion, but in the caring of their flock, of their people. Today, I want to talk about Sister Octavia and her quest to care and heal her people, a calling so strong she became the target of many demons. The Cathedral of Light, standing as a symbol of religious devotion in Sanctuary, exhibits a fanaticism that goes beyond calm religious fervor. The members of the cathedral practice self-punishment for their perceived sins and live lives of penance, all in devotion to their prophet Inarius. Desperate for salvation, followers are willing to make any sacrifice, including monetary donations and enduring various forms of penance, to be viewed favorably by the church. In the midst of all this, there is an insidious force at work, the demons of the burning hells. They pull the strings of the mortals and make them do terrible things. These often manifest in violent, destructive ways, but sometimes they are more subtle, as is the case with demonic possessions. Individuals can fall victim to demons infiltrating their minds, leading them to exhibit violent behavior and a bloodlust, serving as gateways for demons into Sanctuary. You see, exorcising a possessed person is a task fraught with difficulties, time-consuming, and does not always result in saving the host. Thus, more often than not, the cathedral chooses a simpler, more brutal solution. The possessed are condemned to death. They meet their end on the pyres of the fractured peaks, reminiscent of the witch burnings of medieval times. A stark illustration of this grim reality is seen through the character of priest Matvey, who oversees a small village named Margrave in the fractured peaks. He believes humanity's suffering is a just consequence of their actions, seemingly indifferent to the fate of those consumed by the flames.
I see. So our young brother failed in his pilgrimage to the monastery. A shame. But no worse than any of us have earned, is it? Death of fang and claw, of freezing, of the pyre. Our sinful bodies deserve no better.
Despite the overarching darkness and harshness that pervade the fractured peaks and the Cathedral of Light, glimmers of goodness and compassion still exist. Not all wish to see Sanctuary succumb to darkness and despair. Such is the spirit embodied by Sister Octavia, a priestess of the Cathedral of Light. Today, I want to share her story with you, a story of faith and struggle against demonic forces. And that, similarly to the tale of Icarus, which you might have heard of, one must be careful not to fly too close to the sun. Our journey commences in the lively, chaotic city of Kiovashad. Amidst the bustle and muddy streets, Sister Octavia is having a heated conversation with a distressed villager. The villager's son is griped by an insidious demon. Sister Octavia, armed with her faith, her chalice, and your help, descend into the frigid cellar where the boy is held captive by the demonic entity. The exorcism unfolds with a battle of wills between the light and the darkness. Sister Octavia invokes the name of Inarius, shedding her blood as a symbol of sacrifice and calling upon the divine power to purify the boy's soul. The demon resists, asserting its claim over the child, but Sister Octavia's determination proves to be formidable. Now, before we move forward, the fact that Sister Octavia is shedding her blood here is all well and good, but I couldn't help but remember the cinematic trailer for Diablo 4, By Three They Come, where we see pretty much a blood offering that brings back Lilith. Keep her in the back of your mind for a second, as she'll come back into this video around the end. Now let's get back to this exorcism. Amidst a spiritual struggle, a demon manifests, threatening both Sister Octavia and the boy. However, threat is vanquished, leaving the boy freed from its clutches and the father overwhelmed with gratitude.
My boy! Oh, Father! You're all right. Thank you, sister.
You're welcome. I'm sure I will see you at the next service, yes, Peter? Right in the front pew?
Of course, sister, of course.
I like this snippet because Sister Octavia reminds Peter to make sure he gets to church on time and, sits at the very front of the congregation. And I believe it's a reminder that Sister Octavia is a priest of the Cathedral of Light, and she's very devoted to the church. While others might resort to harsher methods, Sister Octavia's faith in Inarius and her belief in the salvation he brings through light shines through in this exorcism. Yet, Inarius has a complex nature, marked by his disdain for humanity and his pursuit of reaching the high heavens no matter the costs. And that raises questions about the true source of the sacred power exhibited during the exorcism. Is the power that flows through the chalice genuinely from Inarius, or does it originate from a different source? The second time you meet Sister Octavia is in front of the house of a lady called Kvura. Convinced her husband Vasek is possessed by the demonic forces of the burning hells, she calls upon Sister Octavia for help. Once again, Sister Octavia leads the way into the cold cellar. However, this time, the atmosphere is tense, and the air is thick with foreboding. Unpredictably, while Octavia and you are in the cellar, Vasek, driven by the demon within, lashes out from a room upstairs and escapes, leaving a trail of terror in his wake. You run up with Sister Octavia and chase him through the city sewers of Kiovashad. The struggle of Vasek between his humanity and the demonic possession is palpable, and his screams resonate through the dark tunnels. Cornered and desperate, Vasek endures the pain as Sister Octavia begins her prayers, fervently hoping to release him from his torment. But the demon in Vasek is resilient, and Vasek's fate is sealed as he is encased in ice, and a demon shatters from within, claiming his life. You then fight off the demon with Sister Octavia. It disintegrates in front of you, telling you to enjoy your victory for now, which is quite ominous. Will he somehow come back? Exhausted, Octavia expresses her sorrow for Vasek's tragic end. This is not what she wanted.
Vasek, I've failed you. I'm so sorry.
Leaving the sewers, the burden of informing Kvura of her husband's demise weighs heavily on Sister Octavia. Wounded both physically and emotionally, she seeks respite to heal and reflect on the ominous events that have unfolded. And most of all, she goes back to Kvura to tell her the bad news about her husband. This is where you part ways for a while. But while you are gone fighting Lilith and Elias, during the main campaign of Diablo 4, Sister Octavia is under grave danger. After you've reached level 20 and you return to Kiovashad, you are stopped by Peter, father of the child you saved with Octavia. He reveals to you the dire situation of Sister Octavia and hands over a letter penned by her trembling hand. The note is an urgent plea, revealing her possession by a demon thought defeated in the sewers. It appeals for assistance, highlighting the pressing need for secrecy due to the church's severe stance on possession within the clergy. If anyone of the Cathedral of Light was to find out, she would be burned at the pyre without a second thought. The note leads you to Kvura's cellar. Sister Octavia, weakened and in distress, is concealed there, with Peter and the grieving Kvura maintaining a vigilant watch. Peter, despite his reservations about the church, remains steadfast in his faith in Father Inarius and his teaching. He is willing to risk everything to protect Sister Octavia, who had once saved his child without hesitation. As Sister Octavia lies in the dimly lit cellar, her condition worsens. The demon within her grows stronger and time is running out. As you speak with the sister, she reveals the necessity of performing what she calls the blood rite exorcism to purge the demon within her. This is the ritual you use to liberate Peter's boy, and it represents the only hope for Sister Octavia's salvation. You learn that the crucial component of this ritual, Sister Octavia's sacred chalice, must be secured. The chalice was lost in your confrontation with the demon in the sewers, leaving you with the task of acquiring a new one through the church, and quickly. Amidst her suffering, Octavia directs you towards Priest Matvey, who I talked about a bit earlier in the video. This priest is known to be the keeper of many chalices for the church. So you travel to Morgrave. Well, let's be honest, you teleport and approach Matvey. You express the urgent need for a holy chalice. Matvey shows evident signs of skepticism towards you, but a fabricated tale of a mission bestowed by the Reverend Mother Prava sways him. He hands over a chalice with a stern warning. It holds no power unless consecrated with the blood of sinners, which means you have to go and massacre a bunch of heretics, something you are very good at. Determined, you embark on this rather bloody task, confronting and defeating brigands lurking nearby, their blood collected within the sacred vessel. Once back in Margrave, the priest tells you that the final step of the consecration is to dip a piece of the burning wood from a holy pyre into the collected blood. As you do so, the blood bubbles and evaporates, leaving behind a haunting residue of red and black within the chalice. The once mundane object now pulses with a dark power, ready to play its part in the blood rite exorcism. Once you get back to Kiovashad, you find out that Sister Octavia's condition deteriorated. The malicious demon within her had grown stronger. With no time to waste, Peter diligently sets up the chalice as you begin the ritual. With every word recited from the sacred book of prayers, Sister Octavia's body levitates, her screams piercing the atmosphere, the demon voicing its mockery through her. The ritual faces an unexpected interruption as Priest Matvey, having followed you back to Kiovashad, bursts into the room, denouncing the act as heresy and threatening retribution. Peter, acting swiftly, subdues Matvey, ensuring the continuity of the ritual. The recitations reach a crescendo. In a climactic moment, the demon is expelled from Sister Octavia, materializing to challenge you. A battle ensues, a struggle of light against darkness, ultimately resulting in the demon's vanquishment and Sister Octavia's liberation from its clutches. Well done. You've done it. You've saved Sister Octavia. As she wakes up, she expresses her gratitude and admiration for the successful execution of the blood rite. Apparently, it's much harder than it seems. Anyway, tensions escalate as Priest Matvey regains consciousness, confronting the group with accusations of blasphemy and theft. Sister Octavia counters his claims.
Oh, and what will you tell Prava? That you allowed a commoner to so easily deceive her holy representative? That you abandoned your flock in Margrave and left them with no guidance from the lights? If I am to be tied to that horrific pyre, then you shall be there with me.
With a realization of his own shortcomings, Priest Matvey departs, leaving behind a room filled with relief. Before parting ways, Sister Octavia bestows upon you her book of prayers, a symbol of trust and a tool for salvation. And with that, our story ends. And although Sister Octavia's rituals are a proof that the divine and sacred are powerful tools in Sanctuary, something tells me it may not have been Inarius who answered her calls. If you finish the game, you might know why. Anyway, could it have been Lilith? After all, the ritual is one of blood, and she hates the forces of the burning hells as much as Inarius himself. But would she help the Cathedral of Light protect their flock in this way? I don't know. I doubt it. So where did that sacred power come from? Let me know what you think. Thanks again for hanging out. Don't forget to subscribe and all that shebang. And we'll see you again very soon in another video.
Oh, and I'll try to put in a good word with Prava for you.
If you like this video, make sure to leave me a like and come and join us on Discord to influence upcoming videos. That's all for now. We'll see you very soon. Thanks again for watching.